Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast where we bring you the latest news and updates from around the world. We have a fascinating story to share with you, straight from the United States. A federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to reinstate over 1,000 employees of the Voice of America, a government-funded media outlet, and resume its international broadcasts. This decision comes after the judge ruled that President Donald Trump's appointee, Kari Lake, was unlawfully appointed to head the U.S. Agency for Global Media, which oversees the Voice of America. According to reports, Judge Royce Lamberth, an appointee of Republican President Ronald Reagan, described the decision to sack the journalists as arbitrary and capricious, adding that the government had not taken into account legislation that determines what languages and regions the Voice of America must serve. The judge has ordered the reinstatement of the employees by March 23 and has given the U.S. Agency for Global Media a week to come up with a plan to resume international broadcasts. The Voice of America was created in the wake of World War II as a key instrument of American soft power worldwide, broadcasting TV, radio, and digital content in almost 50 languages. President Trump has frequently criticized the media outlet, denouncing its editorial firewall that prevents the government from intervening in its coverage. The Trump administration has said it plans to appeal the judge's previous ruling that Kari Lake's appointment was unlawful. This development raises important questions about the role of government-funded media outlets and the balance between journalistic independence and government oversight. We'll continue to follow this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. For now, it's clear that the fate of the Voice of America and its employees remains a contentious issue. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we continue to navigate the ongoing partial government shutdown, a new concern is emerging: the potential closure of airports due to a surge in sick calls among TSA officers. Acting Deputy TSA Administrator Adam Stahl has warned that if the number of call-outs continues to climb, some airports may be forced to shut down. This is a serious situation, with hundreds of TSA officers having already quit and the remaining 50,000 working without pay. The situation is taking a toll on these dedicated public servants, with many struggling to make ends meet. As Stahl poignantly put it, "Our people are hurting. We have individuals sleeping in their cars, drawing blood to afford to pay for gas to get to work. It's heartbreaking to think of those who serve our country in this way being forced to endure such hardship." The impact on air travel is already being felt, with security lines stretching to over 2 hours at some major airports. In Atlanta, for example, over 37% of TSA officers called out sick on Monday, closing one of the checkpoints at the world's busiest airport. And in Philadelphia, 3 of the 6 checkpoints will be closed today. But there are also stories of kindness and community emerging in response to this crisis. Jose Andres' World Central Kitchen has provided over 8,000 free meals to TSA workers, a small but significant gesture of support during a difficult time. As we move forward, it's essential that we find a solution to the shutdown and ensure that our TSA officers receive the compensation they deserve. The consequences of inaction could be severe, with airport closures potentially disrupting travel plans for thousands of people. We'll continue to monitor this situation and bring you updates as more information becomes available. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, let's take a closer look at the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. The situation between Lebanon and Israel continues to escalate, with reports of over 900 people killed in Israeli attacks since Hezbollah entered the regional war in support of Tehran. France has been attempting to mediate in the conflict, with its special envoy for Lebanon, Jean-Yves Le Drian, stating that it's unreasonable to expect the Lebanese government to disarm Iran-backed Hezbollah while the country is being bombed by Israel. Le Drian emphasized that only negotiations can resolve the crisis and that a comprehensive and permanent non-aggression pact between Lebanon and Israel is necessary. Meanwhile, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot is expected to visit Lebanon soon in an effort to push forward diplomatic efforts. However, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar has stated that Israel's government is not planning direct talks with Lebanon in the coming days. It's a complex and delicate situation with multiple parties involved and various interests at play. As the international community continues to grapple with finding a solution, it's essential to consider the perspectives of all parties involved and work towards a peaceful resolution. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.